Going on with y'all fellas. I ain't gonna lie, I had to react to this video. Here's what winning the 2021 NBA title will mean for each contender. Now, the contenders in my book, I'm gonna read off the contenders right now. Alright. First of all, we got the Lakers, we got the Nets, right? We got the Nets in there, we got the Clippers. Wait, alright. I'm gonna go from west to east. Alright, so in the west we got the Lakers, the Clippers, and that's it. Nobody else is a contender. In the East, we got the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks. That's it. So it was literally five people that couldn't win the chip. You know what I'm saying? The rest, I know you're like, yo, the Jazz could win, but nah. The Jazz can't win the chip. I ain't gonna lie. Even if they do make the finals, no. Nah, bro. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. No. So yeah, that's really it. So basically, what it mean for those five teams to win a chip? Now, if LeBron wins a chip, and if he beats the Nets, you know what I'm saying, he's the greatest of all time. I don't care. I said what I said. He's the greatest of all time if he beats the Nets in any shape, form, whatever. You don't even have to win the Finals MVP, bro. I'm already seeing it. As long as he contributes, and he just plays. He's the greatest of all time. I ain't even gonna lie. So basically we better hop into this video. I'm gonna lie, 20 minutes. Forgive the mic quality, bro, but I gotta get a new Yeti. This one's acting weird. My headphone jack is broken. I gotta get a free one.
Not on Spotify or Apple Podcasts right now, it's because it's being moved, and then they should show back up at some point. So yeah, me and NBA Storyteller.
Remember, I'm a high IQ NBA analyst, so I know what I'm talking about when I see these type of things. So I'm gonna be giving my 2 cents in everything he's saying, whether it's right or wrong.
We'll be back next Monday. But in the meantime, I felt like it was probably time to make this video again. It's the same exact one I made nearly a year ago, probably almost exactly a year ago. I made it for the 2020 NBA contenders, and why not do it for the 2021 contenders? So I put this question out into the Twitterverse a couple of days ago just to see where people's minds were at, and it seems like we might be generally on the same track. I think I'm a little bit more optimistic than some of the responses I saw. And so as far as who are the contenders right now, the actual contenders for the 2021 title, I think it goes to about 7 teams. 7 teams across 3 tiers, I would say. I do think that's necessary because last year, a lot of people wouldn't have had the Heat going to the NBA Finals. I had them in my dark horse tier when I did this video, and then lo and behold, it might have been some extraordinary circumstance, but they were in the finals. So you might hear a team now and think it's a stretch, and then we end up in the finals and they're there. Here's how I'd put it. In tier 1, I've got the Nets and Lakers. These are the teams that I think most people expect to be in the finals when it's all said and done. This is the most likely finals in most people's eyes. The big 3 of one conference versus the defending champions. I just feel like if most people had to place money, these are the teams that they would do it on. So those are the first 2 I'll say. Then there's the second tier, the teams that would make it if one of these teams didn't. So in the Eastern Conference, that would be the 76ers and Bucks. And in the Western Conference, I'd go Los Angeles Clippers. Maybe against my better judgment after what happened last year, but I'm sticking to it. And then the final tier. This is the dark horse tier. The squads that are good, but people don't necessarily believe can go all the way right now. And that is where I would place the Jazz and the Suns. Of course, this is up for argument. Some might see how the Heat have improved since getting Jimmy Butler back and getting healthy and say, hey, why aren't they here? If they're on your list, sure. The way the East is right now, I don't see that happening. But nevertheless, leave your list in the comment section below. Now, let's get into who the championship would mean the most to, what it would mean for each of these teams, and kind of the path to getting there. Starting in the most logical place with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, look, this team has the most offensively talented big 3 of all time.
What would it really mean, though? I ain't gonna lie. KD, James Harden, Kyrie, Blake Griffin. I'm not even gonna count DeAndre Jordan. I know. Don't do that. But what it? I don't even want to be that guy, yo. I don't even want to be that guy. But would it mean anything if they win the chip? I mean, James Harden, cool, get his first ring, cool. Kyrie get his second ring without LeBron, cool. KD gets his third. I mean, cool. But I still got James Harden winning Finals MVP if that happens. I ain't gonna lie. Just want to see KD.
Really not hard to see how they get to the finals, especially the way the Eastern Conference is right now. They really don't have that many hurdles. I think the way that the standings are shaping up right now, they could very easily end up with the first seed, especially because they don't even have Kevin Durant. They haven't had him for a while. I'm not sure how many games he's played this year. When they get him back, maybe there will be a little bit of an adjustment period, but the 76ers right now are missing Embiid for an extended period of time. It's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 3 weeks. So they could easily come off that first seed, the Nets could grab it, meaning they would only have to go through one of the Sixers and Bucks to make it to the NBA Finals. More than likely. This is a team that, because of the way their offense is set up now, they have margin of error on defense. They do not have to be great on the defensive side of the ball when you have the 3 best ISO scorers in the league, possibly. To make matters worse for the league, they've actually gotten a bit better on that side of the ball. So, health permitting, like I said, if any of us were placing money, it would probably be on the Nets side of the Eastern Conference. So, what would winning a title actually mean for them? Well, it gets Kyrie Irving his second, Harden his first, Kevin Durant his third. And this is the interesting part, because it's kind of what we discussed when they got together. People do not fear this Nets team the same way they feared the Warriors, the Kevin Durant Warriors. When that was a thing, the team did not have a weakness. And
that's facts, yo. The Warriors, they had a defense. They had crazy deep. They had a top 5 defense in the league and a top 5 offense in the league. Come on now, that's why they don't fear it. You see the Nets, it's like, okay, cool. You got Kyrie, you got Harden, but y'all can't defend at all. With the Warriors, you had the greatest shooter of all time. Probably the second greatest shooter of all time, and probably the greatest scorer of all time. Yeah, I think it adds up. And an elite supporting cast off the bench that plays defense. Come on, bro. We already know. It's not the Warriors, but it's up there.
Unless they were injured, that's how they almost got beat. That's actually how they did get beat. So the Nets get together and you see all these think pieces about how you can't have this many ball handlers on one team, there's not going to be enough shots for everybody, this, that, the other thing. And then, of course, predictably, the offense is not the problem, it's the defense. And so then people's questions are, oh, how are you going to win a championship with DeAndre Jordan as your starting center? He can't defend the pick and roll at all, he can't defend it in space. And then they pick Blake Griffin up. And now the questions are, okay, is what he's going to bring on offense, the little bit that he might bring to offense, is it really worth what he's going to give up on defense? You see, all these questions, no matter what the questions are with the Nets, there are questions. So it's not like the Warriors where the only thing they had to do was actually go make it happen. And for that reason, if they win, I'm curious. Are people going to go the route of, oh, Kevin Durant has always needed this much talent to win? Or are they going to give the team credit for figuring it out? Because he's not the only one the questions surround. There was also James Harden. If you think back, the other think pieces before he was actually traded were about how, oh, my team doesn't actually need James Harden. We don't actually want James Harden because he plays hero ball in Houston. He's going to destroy our system. In some places, he's going to destroy our culture. And I was always sitting back the whole time saying, guys, he wants out of Houston. He is trying to leave a situation where he doesn't believe he can win a championship. That means he probably wants to go somewhere where he can win a championship. If he thinks he needs to change his style of play to do so, to best make that happen, he will probably do so. Hey, and guess what? He has. He's done it. The few times that the big three are on the floor together, there are times where in the first half, James Harden just completely defers. He does not get in the way of what Kevin Durant and Kyrie are doing. As a matter of fact, he tries not to. You can see him trying not to. So there's been adjustments. This team it's the scariest thing when you're in the fourth quarter and it's a close game. Say your squad is down 4 points to the Nets and the big three are on the floor, and you get into a match where you have to figure out how to stop Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, and you have no margin for error. You have to go back and score on your side because there's like a 95% chance they're going to score on theirs. The Nets winning the championship, aside from what it would do.
I'm saying, y'all, I'm low-key scared of the Nets going into a playoff series, like in the finals with them. But I'm like, yo, we have the number one. We have a top 5 defense in the league. We're going to make it tough for them, even if they have 3 superstars, of course. And if we can score on transition, because I know their transition defense is trash. Their transition defense is trash. If we could score on transition, most of the time, we should be all right, and we should be able to compete. Easy.
For these 3 players, and also giving Blake Griffin his first ring, I think that would be pretty cool. Aside from all that, if you remember back in many a podcast ago, I said that if the Nets win in their first year, before they even get to the offseason where people scramble there, where free agents scramble there because they see a free championship, that's going to be kind of insane. I think then people will be a lot more angry that this happened than they are right now, because right now a lot of people still feel like they have a chance. They still feel like there's weaknesses. If they win and then they patch up those weaknesses, well, we all had a good run with parity, right? The Los Los Angeles Lakers, the 2020 NBA champions. Anthony Davis got his first, LeBron got his fourth. Now they are on a path to defend, and that would get AD his second and LeBron his fifth. I believe the Lakers have mostly been on cruise control this season. The most important thing is obviously on his fifth. I believe the Lakers have mostly been on cruise control this season. The most important thing is obviously being healthy when the playoffs start, so it doesn't even matter that they're probably not going to wind up with the first seed, even though they very well still could. It's not like they really need it. I see that they're in the market for a big man, so there are some deficiencies that they're trying to patch up. But again, their main thing is Anthony Davis's health. They will live and die by that. That's why sitting him out for this month, or what will it be, like a month and a half, that's why that was a very smart thing to do. They went ahead as soon as the Achilles started to become a problem. Just don't let that go any further. And when everybody's there, there's not a team in this conference that they should feel like they can't beat. Of course, this title for the Lakers would be important for so many reasons. It would go ahead and take away that talking point that their win last year in the bubble was somehow not as special as winning in a regular season, even though some people argued it was actually more because of the circumstance.
Bro, that's stupid. Everybody had the same exact playing ground. No team had an advantage. Okay, you could say, oh, LeBron got more rest time. So did everybody else. What is your point? You think because LeBron older, he needs more rest? What? This man is ready to go anytime he wants. Do you know how much money LeBron spends on his body yearly? Come on, bro. It doesn't make sense. You can call it a Mickey Mouse ring all that you want, but it doesn't make sense. And guess what? Go with them foes. I ain't gonna lie. Go with them foes. Niggas in 5.
Either way, if they go on to not make the finals this year or lose, you know that will become a stronger narrative. People will go at that title harder and harder as time goes on, so winning it directly after, it'll take away any of those points. Of course, it will also break the tie between them and Boston for the most championships in NBA history. It would put LeBron just one title below Jordan with a chance to tie, ending on a three-peat, by the way, because if they win this year, there is nothing stopping them from being able to repeat next year. Of course, there are obstacles, but there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to. I think watching LeBron these days, he's obviously not at his athletic peak, but he hasn't declined to a point where you could say, oh, this is dramatically different, or he's dramatically worse at this. He's still more or less at the top of his game. So with no reason to expect a significant drop-off between here and the next season, all of a sudden, you've got him going to the Lakers to possibly three-peat. Especially given the way this thing started, that would be quite incredible. And don't forget that this year, the way the standings are shaping up, there's a great chance for them to also go through the Clippers while doing it. That rivalry did not get to come to a head last year. In hindsight, it's kind of a cool thing that it didn't because there were no crowds. We really want that LA tension that we might get if they meet this year. I'm assuming there will probably be some sort of crowds by the time the playoffs are around. So going through their rivals across the hall on the way to a repeat, that would be amazing. Especially given their situation. So let's talk about them. The Los Angeles Clippers. Boy, was that a disappointing way to end last year. And there was a lot that went into it. There's no excuse simply for blowing a 3-1 lead, especially to a team that, while good, it wasn't a squad that anybody pegged beating them in a series, or that most people would anyways. But the Clippers are in dire need of redemption.
They did that to Denver, Denver did that to them.
But especially after last year. If you remember, from most of the season, people thought that was the most well-constructed roster to go all the way. So obviously the break probably didn't help them, on top of the fact that guys were in and out the entire season before the break. But at least at this point, you've got everybody healthy. Everything is set the way it needs to be. Kawhi Leonard is playing at an MVP level. Paul George started the season playing some of the best basketball of his career. He's still doing good. And the same way, or part of the same way that it works for the Lakers, it kind of works for the Clippers here as well. Going to the finals, probably going to have to go through the Lakers. For them, that would mean going through their rivals, who also happen to be the defending champions. Doing so on the way to a title would absolutely give that franchise some air of legitimacy, or maybe just to this era. I don't know. They've gone through a lot, but the Clippers are always gonna have a joke attached to them. Bottom line, it'd be a nice comeback story. Failing as hard as they did last year, making it all the way back to go all the way. It would also be kind of important because, well, not only did they open up the bag for Paul George after giving away basically the house for him, it was for him and Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, speaking of Kawhi Leonard, he can be a free agent at the end of this year. Nobody's talking about it because he left a championship team in Toronto just so he could go be in LA and contend at home. It's kind of hard to imagine that he would have done that and then leave a couple of years later, although we never know what's going on in Kawhi's mind. So it would probably help for them to win this year, or at least get close to winning. Going out in a disappointing way, that just opens up a box you probably don't want to open if you're a Clippers fan. Oh yeah, that would also give Kawhi 3 titles, maybe even 3 Finals MVPs, on top of his Defensive Player
Three
of the
titles.
Year.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I
he'd be
forgot.
quietly
Yeah,
putting
three
together a
titles.
very nice resume. And this would be the ultimate redemption from Paul George, because in the past year, he's been through a lot of scrutiny as well. Sometimes you get the feeling that his game is far more disrespected than it should be, by fans, players, and media alike. So this would be pretty great for him. Oh man, this title would be such a great thing for the Sixers. I wouldn't stop.
Bro, if the Clippers win the chip, watch PG talk so much trash, bro. Watch him talk so much trash to think he's nice. Yeah, they prayed on my downfall, man. I have to show y'all I'm the best player in the league, and y'all see it today. Y'all, it'd be even worse if he won Finals MVP. I ain't gonna lie.
Say I'm so glad Embiid is actually okay, because I haven't seen somebody go down the way he did and not tear something. And so after his injury history and him having an MVP year, it's just an awesome thing that he is going to be back in, hopefully at full strength. And for Philly, that would give them a chance, a serious chance to get to the finals. Their path, the way it's going.
I don't think Embiid went a full season without getting injured. I don't think he did that yet, and that's crazy. Nah, but before I don't know. I think AD had nah. I don't think AD had one either. You know, that's like missing time because of an injury. I don't think Joel Embiid had one. AD didn't have one. Ben Simmons sure didn't have one. He missed playoff series because of that. That's tough. A lot of people can't stay healthy, bro. Only person I can really say that really stayed healthy throughout their career is LeBron. I'm not even trying to whatever. I'm speaking facts. You know what I'm saying? Who else though? Kawhi's been staying healthy. Besides in that series, he went down with that injury. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Looks like they would have to take out the reigning MVP in Giannis and then the new
Pretty
super
much
team in the
LeBron.
Nets. Now playing the Nets, that one's fascinating. Joel Embiid going against the Nets interior defense for an entire series. I desperately need to see that one play out. If Philly is able to get past that and win the championship, then
I need to see that too. Yo, I need to see Joel Embiid and Giannis go up against Brooklyn's interior. That's gonna be funny. I ain't gonna lie, but you know what I'm saying? If all three of those boys, Kyrie, Katie, and Harden, are hitting from three, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
need to see that one play out. If Philly is able to get past that and win the championship, then the process is complete. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons did what people did not believe they were going to be able to do for a long, long time. You got to remember, just literally last year, we were talking about, not last year, this year, we were talking about trading Ben Simmons. It seemed like a possibility that he was going away for Harden. The Harden and Embiid duo is, on the court, it works a lot better, and that whole conversation was bred out of the fact that we just believe this team had a ceiling.
And that's bro. There's good teams in the East, bro. I ain't gonna. You got the Bucks, then you got the Clippers, bro. Like it can get to that point if you got to go through both of those teams because those are the only teams I could see that maybe has a chance to be in the Nets. I don't know. I'm not even going to underrate the Heat because they might have a chance of turning up in the playoffs and making some noise. You know what I'm saying? You can't count them out for what they did last year, bro. It's gonna be tough in the East. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't not gonna lie because you got so many defenders in the East. That's what I'm saying. The Bucks, they got Drew Holiday. You know what I'm saying? They picked up PJ Tucker and then Giannis. He's a defender. Chris Middleton's a defender. You know what I'm saying? Brook Lopez is a good interior body. It's gonna be tough for the Nets if you go against the Bucks. But I'm saying it might not even matter because you got Kyrie and Harden and KD. You know what I'm saying? The Sixers got one of the best defenders in the league in Ben Simmons, and you got Joel Embiid. He's a body. But then you got, who else do you got? Danny Green, a good, all right, perimeter defender. You got Dwight Howard, a big body in the paint. It's going to be tough for them, too. Even the little Matisse Thybulle guy could give somebody some trouble. I don't know.
Sooner or
You
later,
got
you were
bodies in
going to
the
have to
East,
choose
bro.
between one of these
Contenders.
two. So going and doing this in a relatively short time, this has only been going on since what, 2018? So by 2021, this duo has a title, and this would be their first time even reaching the conference finals, by the way. That'd be a big thing for them. Ben Simmons getting a title as a point guard without ever having developed a legitimate jump shot, and in turn bringing appreciation to other parts of his game. This would really be awesome for both him and Embiid, and for Doc Rivers as well, because I believe the Clippers era really gave Doc a bad rep, coming to the Sixers in the very first year, and transforming them to what was often a disappointing playoff product to NBA champions. That would be an awesome thing for him, because he hasn't won since the Big Three Celtics. Unless you're a Celtics fan or you're from Boston, you don't generally like that team. And then the last Eastern team that, as of right now, I believe can actually win the championship, the Milwaukee Bucks. This one almost feels unexpected, because at this point, you've watched the Bucks falter in the playoffs twice, predictably by the way, and now coming into this year, Drew Holiday was out. There's been a lot of fuckery with the COVID season, so there's a lot of factors, but the Bucks currently don't have the same spark to them in the regular season as they have in the last couple of years. And even if they did, people wouldn't care. They want to see playoff progress. They didn't even make the conference finals last year. Now, I think the road is very difficult for them. They currently sit in a third seed, and yes, that puts them against the Sixers and the Nets before probably having to play the Lakers or the Clippers. Now, do I think the Bucks' record is reflective of where they are compared to last year? I don't really think so. I think the squad is actually a bit better. I think it's a little bit deeper than it was. But in terms of the most important part, which is Giannis's game, I don't think I've seen the development that I need to be so optimistic that they could actually pull this off. As it currently stands, you can come into a playoff series with this squad, and given the proper defensive scheme and the proper personnel, you can slow Giannis down again. Never going to be able to fully.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't like the Bucks coach, bro. The Bucks coach, yo, he doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't sit right with me, yo. Like I said, but he is better than Steve Nash. I'm not even going to hold him. He is better than Steve Nash. What's his name? Mike Budenhauser, whatever you call. He's better than Steve Nash, bro.
Stop him, but you can slow him down enough to where you can beat them in a series.
But
I think they can run into that same exact issue with squads this year, and it's why I wouldn't really be high on them coming out of the East. Now, on the flip side of that, if Giannis and the Bucks do pull this off, this is one of the more special rings of all time. You gotta remember, Giannis, if he had chosen, could have been a free agent this summer, could have went pretty much anywhere he wanted to. He didn't even let anybody think that was going to happen. He didn't want to join the host of stars that made questionable competitive decisions. He wanted his jersey burned. Didn't even give the market a chance. And so by doing that, a lot of people were like, I don't know why he did this. This is the wrong career move. He's never going to win a ring. And what if he was able to win a ring in the year he signed the extension? And in the year his conference got tougher. Giannis has a good team, but he does not have other superstars or another superstar next to him. He would have to go through multiple teams that have superstars and superstar duos. I see no reason right now why I should expect that, but it would be pretty cool to witness. Something that would be just downright jaw-dropping to witness: the Utah Jazz winning the NBA championship. Now, first of all, people have never taken the Jazz seriously, and that has hardly.
Bro, if the Jazz win the chip, bro, it would put everything back to normal. Like, nobody could talk. You wouldn't hear nobody talking smack on Twitter except Jazz fans. And who cares about Jazz fans? You know what I'm saying? They get their little chip. That's it. They won't get it for like another 45 years. I'm not joking. I'm joking, but still. Yeah, it would put everything to rest. Like the Nets fans will be talking mess. Lakers fans, the toxic Buck fans, the Sixers fans, every toxic fan base wouldn't get the chance to talk smack. They would just be looking stupid like these niggas really won. Like that's really it.
Changed, even though they are in the first seed and they've been doing historic things this year, but people don't respect Rudy Gobert's game. They don't like him that much. And then there's Donovan Mitchell, who I think still has quite a bit of improvement to go. Now, this is still a legitimate team. It's so weird that I have them in the dark horse tier, but they're first seed in the West. They're above the Lakers and Clippers, but I have them in the dark horse tier, which by name...
Yeah, I mean, Rudy Gobert, he doesn't... I mean, not Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell, he doesn't have a superstar next to him. It's just him. I mean, Rudy Gobert, he just play defense. You know, he's a good interior defender, but against the Lakers, would tear him up. Against the Nets, they would tear him up, especially on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's just Donovan Mitchell because Rudy Gobert, you know what I'm saying, he can't play no perimeter defense. He can't score the ball like that. He has no post game. He has no offensive game to him. That's why we don't respect him. Well, I ain't gonna say we don't respect him, but we don't respect his game. You know what I'm saying?
technically doesn't
He's
make
not a
sense
superstar.
because if
See, the
you're the
All-Star
first
stuff is
seed and you
different.
win the championship, isn't that kind of expected? But it's just the context of being in this conference with teams that you know, especially in the playoffs, are probably better than them. And so if they were able to go through,
Like, just think about it. You haven't seen a star like that in a while. Imagine someone making an All-Star game just because of their defense, like Draymond. Yeah.
all that, they were able to take the Lakers
And
and then
not
end up
even as
taking
good
the
as
Nets.
Draymond.
That
That
would
we can't
still
play
be,
me
I
like
think that would
Draymond
be
can
equivalent to
facilitate.
if just
So
a
he's
dark
just
horse
straight
team wouldn't
defense.
want it. So
So
either way,
cherry
semantics
defense, by the
aside,
way.
could this actually happen? I think they need a couple of things to go their way. I think they would need the Lakers to be slightly less than healthy because obviously if Anthony Davis, if he didn't come back or something happened there, yeah, then it's very realistic. But with the healthy Lakers team, this just would not be the first time that there was a shiny new toy out there in the same conference as LeBron that he went through in the playoffs. It just would not be a
Yeah, I don't
surprise.
see them.
I see the way certain teams go where Rudy Gobert, and I know in a playoff series they are probably going to do so, i.e. in pick and rolls when he's constantly in drop coverage. I see the way that kind of hurts the team at times, and I wonder what exactly is going to change this year when they're in a series with a team that's specifically going at that. He, a lot of the times, does not have incredible foot speed to be out there switching on the guys, and rim protection, while it's valuable, I don't think it's as valuable as some defenders that are able to do a little bit of both, or a lot of both. Anyways.
Yeah, his rim protection is cool, but against LeBron and AD, what the hell are you gonna do against? There's so much you could do. Come on, it's not like he's gonna be blocking everything, and he does get tired. So it's just gonna be tough for them.
If the Jazz
If
were
Mitchell's
able to
not
do
scoring, it's
this
gonna
would
be
also
tough.
be one of the more incredible rings I've ever seen because they didn't even get the phase to actually present themselves to fans. The Jazz, what have they gone through? They got Donovan Mitchell. His first playoff run as a rookie was pretty good. Then it's kind of stagnated because they've always ran into teams in the conference that are better than them, but they hadn't taken that jump yet to actual contender. I believe they were also dark horse last year. I think they were more so dark horse last year than they are this year because the seeding back then actually matched the term. But my point is, coming into this year, especially the way the conference is and what we knew was happening in the East, there weren't a lot of people just picking the Jazz out of the crowd and saying, really look out for them this year. And so the fact that they've gone from the first round out last year straight to first seed, amazing season, and possible finals team, there hasn't been any in between for them. And so to go from that disappointing collapse in last year's first round straight to a championship, given the level of competition, I don't even think I have anything to really compare that to. And that would be incredible to watch. Especially because most people, like me, I thought that the Jazz had probably reached their ceiling in terms of the Gobert and Mitchell duo. I didn't really see that pairing as a championship duo. And so if they're able to do that and turn around that quickly, especially when it didn't even seem like they were cool and it did look like they were going to have to get rid of one of them, yeah, it would be pure insanity. Not because I see them like the 2015 Hawks, but just given the context of the league right now, it's difficult to see from where we're at right now. Seriously, they're going to have challenges in probably every round from if they keep the first seed, having to play whatever the 8th seed ends up being. Like the 8th seed could wind up being like the Mavericks or the Nuggets. Yes, I think the Jazz could probably beat them given the way things are going right now, unless there's some trades with those teams. But still, it'd be a tough matchup every single round for a team that's never been there. That would be crazy. And the last one, Phoenix Suns. Now, I think this is much more fitting for the term dark horse than the Jazz are this year. Even though they're the second seed right now, they're also a team that hasn't even made the playoffs in many years. So, of course, people come in with the playoff experience stakes. Then we're wondering which version of DeAndre Ayton are we actually going to get from game to game. So, yeah, this is much more of a dark horse than the Jazz are. And if I'm being honest,
I know, yeah, the Suns, I would just put them like at the last one because you got Devin Booker. He never been in the playoffs. I mean, Chris Paul could tell him what's it about, but you can never experience is the best teacher. He never felt that playoff defense. When he gets a couple games in there, we'll see what happens. But he got
I have them here purely because at the time of this recording, they are the second seed with a top 5 point guard in Chris Paul, who once again is just bringing winning ways with him everywhere he goes at every single stop. But yeah, honestly, this team is probably still some pieces away. I try to temper how much I put on a 35-year-old Chris Paul. Yeah, I try not to put too many expectations on that given the conference that he's playing in because, like the Jazz, they will have a serious challenge every single round. And right now, I still kind of have them in the same area that I had in the season started. When it began, I said Suns, I see them as probably a second round out at best. At this specific moment, I probably see them as just a solid second round out. So the difference there being when the season began, I was like, this team could easily go out in the first round. Right now, I think it's a little bit more difficult to just knock them off that easily, but once you get into the second round, it's full-fledged contender. So I kind of think that'll be the end of the road. But in the event that it was not, wow, man, it would probably honestly they would have to add something to this roster, I believe, for that to even happen. And then also to beat whatever team comes out of the East. Yeah, this would be extremely difficult. If Chris Paul does this, man, you're knocking Chris Paul up a lot. Wherever you have him on your all-time ranking right now, he's going a couple of spots higher, more than a couple of spots higher. He would probably finally get his respect. I think Chris Paul is pretty well respected, especially because over these last few years, I think after his OKC run, people probably stopped with the choking narrative and this, that, and the other thing. Once he pulled a team that was expected to be in the lottery to looking like they could be competitive and go to the second round, I think it kind of changed in some people's eyes. But straight going to the Suns, who were a French playoff team last year, or a French playoff contender last year, and then winning a championship, yeah, that would just do everything for him. All the pain that's happened in his career and all the shit luck he's had, that would just undo everything. But don't expect this, man. Don't expect this. I don't think Booker and Aiden are quite ready yet. I think they are going to make a name for themselves this year in the playoffs, and they're going to push somebody. But championship, yeah, that's actually, I think you can hear my voice. I'm starting to wonder why exactly I put them on this list with the rest of the teams. I don't think it's quite there yet. I think I'm giving Chris Paul a lot of credit. Either way, let me know what you think. Who are your contenders right now? Who do you think this championship would mean the most to? And who do you think is going to win it when it's all said and done? Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name.
Alright, I ain't gonna lie. I still got the... I ain't gonna lie. You got the Lakers winning. I ain't gonna lie. The Lakers probably go to the finals, face the Nets. It'll be a tough out. Ain't gonna lie. But we gotta play our best. Our best basketball. LeBron gotta go crazy. 2018 playoff LeBron. We gonna need that. Going against the Nets. It's tough. The only thing I could see it like in the playoffs, bro, the Nets could either be going to the finals or they're out in the second round. First, second round. They either go to the finals or they're out in the second round. They're not losing in the conference finals. They can either be a bust, you know what I'm saying, or they can make it. I don't see it being any other way. But let me know if you like this video, man. I'm out. Leave a like, comment, do whatever you want, bro. I don't really care at this point. I'm going to just see y'all later, man. Peace.